Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Be sure to check me out over on Rumble. There you'll find all of my stuff from YouTube, plus my political and social commentary and weekly current events, which YouTube frowns on. Links to my Rumble channel, as well as my other YouTube channels, and links to let you order my books are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an alien abductions video on the Andrews family. From this event happened in 1987. In the 1980s, a family named Andrews purchased a home in Slade Green, which is a suburb of London, England. Slade Green. The idyllic house was called Sweetbriar Cottage, and they were excited for their family. They were chomping at the bit to get into this place. Paul and Ann were the parents. They ran a farm, and I don't know if you call it a farm or a ranch. They had livestock, but it might have been a mixture. But the point being, they grew stuff, and they had animals. Their son was named Daniel, and their second son was born shortly after they moved in. His name was Jason. So they had one son. Right after they moved in, a couple months after they moved in, the wife gave birth to another son. First kid was Daniel, second kid was Jason. A few months after moving in, the Andrews began to believe their dream home may have been haunted. They began hearing strange noises like thumps and bangs with no reason or origin. Electrical appliances, televisions, and lights would turn on by themselves whether they were plugged in or not. Farm animals showed up dead for no reason. Mysterious dark figures would be seen in the fields and in the trees, and sometimes looking in the windows of the house. They seemed to be watching the family, but nobody could ever approach them. A few months after Jason was born, Anne found him on the floor under his crib with no explanation of how he got there. On another occasion, she found him across the room under a chair. Still another time, she could not find him and searched the house frantically calling for him. Finally, she heard him crying and found him behind a door in a room that she had already searched. This weird moving of the baby stopped after 2 months. On July 2nd, 1987, Jason's fourth birthday, at approximately 10 p.m., Jason was asleep on the sofa. He had a big day. He was tired. He fell asleep on the sofa. A loud banging on the door, like a big man kicking the door, was heard. Paul rushed, of course, to confront the offender, but there was nobody outside. The door, once he opened the door, the banging stopped, and there was nobody there. At that point, loud thunder began to rumble over the house, and an eerie, unnatural storm started up. A bolt of lightning caused Jason to sit up, wide-eyed, as if in a trance. He began speaking an incredible stream of numbers, huge numbers, fantastic numbers, strange math terms like pi and binary codes and algebraic equations. His family was stunned. The kid was only 4 years old. This was his fourth birthday. They tried to call a doctor, but the phone was out. Suddenly, the storm, the banging, and Jason's talking ceased. Jason quietly got off the couch and headed for the front door. Paul tried to grab him, and Jason responded with, "They are waiting for me. I have to go." As he spoke, the noises began again. Paul grabbed him and held him tightly. Eventually, the noises and Jason's odd emotional state faded away. This convinced them that something strange was going on. The poltergeist-like activity started up again. It hadn't been going on until, between a few months, him being a few months old, and by the time he was 4, there was a period there where it stopped. But it all started up again. But also things like keys, cups, and other items would be inexplicably moved. The clocks would all gain or lose time. but they would do it simultaneously and identically as though time moved differently in the house. Multiple electricians could find nothing wrong with the wiring in the house, and the mysterious watchers returned. So they had had enough of that, and they moved. They packed their shit up and they left. 8 years later, kid's 12 years old. 8 years later, the Andrews were living in another house bordering the MOD land, Ministry of Defense. It's like our Defense Department. They were bordering MOD land with thick trees and woodlands. I mean, it was a very beautiful spot. But they were living there right next to the MOD land. In 1995, the family returned to the farmhouse and caught sight of several watchers in the neighboring wheat field. Paul, at this point, had had enough. He went to confront them. They turned and walked into the woods, and this happened several more times over the next few weeks. Animals started showing up dead. Their caravan, their big RV, had been searched. Cabinets, the stuff in the cabinets had been rearranged. It was a nightmare. In May of 1997, Anne finally got a good look at a watcher. Her description was that of one of the gray aliens. This being was watching her, and it peeking around a tree, watching her, and it disappeared into the woods. She couldn't catch it. She couldn't find it. They began seeing bright lights and waking up in strange places. By that point, the family knew something was wrong, and there had been memory lapses and missing time that they had noticed. The family believed that they had been abducted by aliens. They underwent, Anne and maybe some of the others. I read several articles on this, and some of it was conflicting, so bear with me. I know for a fact Anne underwent hypnotic regression so they could try to figure out what was going on. Evidently, under hypnosis, Anne confirmed that the family had been being abducted. It had been Anne recalled under hypnosis that she had been abducted as a baby. So it's a generational thing, and it had started before Jason. The alien, and under hypnosis, she also recalled that the aliens communicated that some of their species had been captured by Earth governments and were being tested, medically and otherwise. Some of their species were shot by human soldiers. Jason remembered being, so Jason was abducted or hypnotized as well. He remembered being abducted when he was a baby, which is odd because usually babies can't remember that kind of thing. But the point being, this was a significant event, and it happened over years, and it's generational, which, by the way, happens a lot in abduction cases. So I did videos on alien abductions, not just the stories of the abductions, but on the phenomena itself. If you are experiencing things like this, get some help. Find somebody to help you, because this is a serious thing. If somebody's breaking into your home and they're messing with your family, you got to find a way to stop it. It's that simple. You got to protect your family. If Mr. E.T. comes in here and I get half a chance, there won't be a question. There will be a corpse. I'm just saying. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. There is a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. When the police detective, who happens to be a skinwalker squirrel, uncovers a plot by a paranormal perpetrator, he has to enlist the aid of his fellow housemates. If you enjoy a modern, quirky take on historical mythology, check out my new original novel, The House Off Farrago Road. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment.